Hi, it's Leia. Welcome to this episode of Diaries of a Witchy Creative Life. In today's How-To Tarot video, we are going to take a look at one way we can combine reading tarot with oracle cards. There are already several videos in the How-To series that I've been putting together. I'll make sure to link the playlist in the description so you can take a look at them if you want. Some of those I would say might possibly benefit the most from this series of how-to videos are tarot beginners, those who want a tarot refresher, say you stopped practicing tarot and now you're picking it up again. It's kind of like you're starting over, but you do have some familiarity with it already. As well as those who already have an existing practice but are open to adding something else to it, so you're looking around to see what else you resonate with that's out there. If you're new here, well, hello and welcome. And to give you a little intro on how the readings on this channel work, they are not predictive. I know that tarot has a reputation as a fortune-telling tool, but on this channel, the focus is on self-awareness and healing. We do the shadow work approach, which, if you've never heard of it before, means we look beyond what's obvious or even what we may be in denial of. What we don't want to take a look at because there may be shame or embarrassment around it. Maybe we've dissociated from it. But since all that doesn't make it go away and it still affects our lives, what we do here is learn how to accept or even embrace it. Maybe at least begin the journey towards feeling more at peace about these things. So let's get started. As with all the existing videos in this series so far, we are using Chris Ann's The Lightseers Tarot. And our demo oracle deck is Messages from the Mermaids by Karen Kay. There are many ways that tarot and oracle cards can be used together. So this is just one, just an example to give you a taste of it. But what we're doing here can come in handy even in your more advanced years of tarot practice, though we are looking at it in a very beginner-friendly way here. I've been picking different spreads in each of these how-to videos, and what we are using here is a relationship spread. Card number 1 would be what the person seeking the reading wants. Card number 2 would be what their partner wants. Card number 3 is the possible direction that the relationship is headed, considering the other factors that have already been explored prior to the number 3 card being flipped over. So how this is set up here is, this is card number 1, this is card number 2, and card number 3. And it's the same on this side. 1, 2, 3. From left to right. So what we want to do here is to flip each of the tarot cards over one by one, and after exploring each one, we are then going to flip over the corresponding oracle card, which will add more depth to what we are looking at. Also a different energy and perspective, which will change, of course, depending on what oracle deck you choose, since different decks have their own personalities. So let's come up with a sample scenario. Let's say someone is asking you for a reading about their relationship. Keeping it simple, it could be about a couple hitting a rough patch. The person who has come to you for a reading is looking for insights on how to move forward. They themselves haven't exactly sorted out what the matter is. All they know is they're not liking where the relationship is at the moment. And with our style of reading, where we dig and we ask questions, it's quite possible that there will be insights to come out of this, even if the sitter can't identify something specifically and can't even put their finger on what the matter may be. So let's start. Let's flip over card number 1 from our tarot deck. It is the 6 of Swords. And I'm gonna put each card right here while we're focused on it. So what you want to do is take a look at the meaning of each card when you flip it over. If you watch the other videos in this series, you'll get a better idea about all that. But basically, okay, let's take a look at the meaning first of the 6 of Swords. This card is about making an effort to move forward, about making some kind of journey. It addresses a transition. However, there may be some things from your past that are weighing you down, which you might be able to see right here. So that could refer to trauma, unresolved issues. And after you look at some of the meanings of the card, which, if you're a beginner, by the way, feel free to open the guidebook. As long as you know the structure that you're using for the reading, it's okay that you are not 100% familiar with all the card meanings yet. So for that aspect of it, it is perfectly okay to open up your guidebook. Okay, so with the meanings now laid out, we can begin asking questions. Because as I said, the readings here are not predictive. They're about digging, understanding the situation better based off of questions that we'll be asking in relation to the card meanings, of course. So let's come up with sample questions that we can ask our sitter. If you feel challenged to formulate questions, you can easily begin with, how does any of that relate to you? And you can be clear about it. Not everything has to apply to you. We look at the meanings so that you can pick which one or which ones stand out to you. So let's say your sitter answers with, I'm at a point in my life where I want to move forward. I want to move on. The past in general has been very challenging and very difficult for me. So you might be able to imagine that despite my best efforts, I feel weighted down by my past. And then they could even go into greater detail, maybe disclosing some events about difficult relationships. And as a reader, you probably will be privy at one point or another to very personal stories, which might, in a case like this, even include some kind of abuse they've experienced. And I might make a separate video about what to do to be more of an empathic reader, because you would certainly want to display that you hear what they're saying, that you see them, that you're holding space for them. And so after that, let's put this away for a second. What we're going to do next is flip over card number 1 from the Oracle deck, and we have Solitude. You'll want to take a look at the meaning of that Oracle card first, and then we'll connect it to the insights that have already come up from card number 1 from the Tarot deck. So solitude, it could mean a bunch of different things, and you can go over whatever comes up for you, or even use the guidebook if you'd like. And that does not make you a lazy reader, by the way, so don't worry about that, because there's more work to be done even after you take a look at the meaning of the card. So solitude could be about what's obvious, spending time alone, spending time away from people, maybe even starting a self-care practice, focusing more on yourself. And after you explore these meanings or associations to solitude in this sample reading, you can now ask your sitter, how does any of that mesh with what we've explored about you? And they might say something along the lines of, well, you know what? I am getting this insight right now of, it's actually been very difficult for me to be present in this relationship because I need to focus on healing myself and my past. There is so much that I have not let go of that is currently affecting my ability to be there for my partner. And no, it's not like I want to split up. We very much care about each other. Our problems don't come from a lack of caring about each other. But this is showing me now that I do need to focus more on myself rather than just pretending that I can go through life without addressing any of these issues from the past. And at that point, maybe they even come up with it on their own and say, I think it's time to look for a therapist. It's crossed my mind several times, but I haven't actually done it. Or whatever other idea or solution that comes up for them at that point, etc., etc. And once that's taken note of, you can put aside card number 1. All right. Let me just get behind that other card. Okay. And And we can move on to our second card. This is the Three of Pentacles. If you recall, the second card in this spread is about what the other person in the relationship wants. I've mentioned this in another relationship-related reading video. There are ethics involved when it comes to reading about someone else. And we all have different moral compasses. The line for each reader will be different, so I'll share mine, what mine personally is. What we explore in these readings when it comes to someone else is something that's more general or from the perspective of the person that you're reading for. We're not trying to dive into the psyche of the other person if they aren't present. So this will be more from the perspective of the sitter, such as the impression they get from their partner or how their partner's actions affect them. So same process. Let's look at the meaning of the card first and foremost. The Three of Pentacles is about cooperation, working together, teamwork, creating or manifesting together. And the shadow side would be not knowing how to work with others, wanting to control others that you work with. Or maybe there's an issue with egos clashing. I might get into this in more detail in another video, but if you've heard me say that I don't read reversals, it's because I explore both the light and the shadow side whenever I do readings. Because typically when a card is reversed, meaning when you pull it, it's upside down, that's the shadow side. But here we're already looking at it, even if it is upright. So anyway, after all those meanings are put out there and shared with a sitter, you can now ask them, how does any of that relate to how your partner is? And maybe they say, I am seeing now that one of the challenges for me in this relationship is they want to do a lot together. Like I said, I love them. I love being with them. I enjoy spending time with them. But it's borderline driving me nuts how much time they want to spend together. And to you as the reader, it would be making sense that they say that because you've already explored with card number 1, and that includes the Oracle deck, that our sitter needs more time to focus on themselves. So something's coming to light here now, which could be pointed out, of course, in case your sitter isn't aware of it as they tell you the stories that come up. And so, okay, they realize that their partner wants a lot of togetherness, which is something that's been contributing to the current challenges because it bumps up against what our sitter needs. And once that's clarified, okay, let's put this back over here. Let's flip over the second card from the Oracle deck. It is decisions. In case you're curious, because it is time-consuming and I also am positioned awkwardly, it can sometimes take a few takes for me to shuffle the cards on camera. And so what I do is, ahead of time, even for the sample readings, I shuffle the decks thoroughly and pull random cards from the deck before filming. And that is how these cards were chosen, as if we were doing an actual reading. But okay, moving on. So the decisions card. Now this is about, obviously, making a decision, choosing, needing to make your mind up about something. Maybe time is ticking on a decision that you absolutely need to make. And it might be as well that someone involved in the situation needs to make a decision or wants to make a decision, thinks that a decision should be made. Exploring all that and asking our sitter how that relates to their partner, they could say, they've been pushing me to play a more active role in this relationship. They feel like they come up with ideas for things to do together, the direction the relationship should go, mostly by themselves. They feel like I don't participate enough. And it's sort of unspoken, but talking about decisions right now, that's what it feels like to me. Like there's a little bit of pressure there for me to pick them, to pick the relationship over anything else that might be taking up my energy. Because no, I haven't told my partner that there's a lot that's weighing on me. I mean, before this session, I didn't even really think about it like that. I didn't connect the dots. But they've pointed out that it seems as if there's always something on my mind, or I'm not quite there with them. So isn't that interesting? How that keyword, even though their partner wasn't actually asking them to make a decision, that was our sitter's takeaway from it. And that is what matters in these readings, that they get insights, that I've used this word many times before. The cards or something in the card serves as an anchor that makes them go ding, 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 even if that's not what it means to you, or that card has come up many times in many readings for you and other people, and there was no association with it in that same way. All that matters is what it reflects to your sitter, what it's helping them realize, which again in this case is they feel like it's unspoken, but they're being pressured to make a decision. And they might even say, I feel it. If we keep going in the direction we've been going for the months that we've been together, they're actually going to give me an ultimatum or come right out and say what's unspoken. And once that you're done with that conversation or it has wound down, let's put card number 2 back where it was and move on to card number 3. This is the 5 of Pentacles. I realize when I've been attempting to get the card to focus, I've been putting it here when the lens is actually here. And it's because the flip screen is on this side. But anyway. So card number 3, as we've mentioned, is the possible direction that the relationship is going if everything continued the way it is right now. And I know what some of you may be thinking. That's predictive right there. I thought that on this channel we don't do predictive readings. Yeah, we are not approaching it predictively. And absolutely, even if it is phrased that way, the possible direction the relationship is headed, we're still doing what we were with the other cards, which is asking questions to give insights. Okay, so let's take a look at how that unfolds here. The 5 of Pentacles is about feeling like a victim or like an outsider, not feeling capable of finding a solution or of moving forward. And as you can see from the symbolism on the card, the key to the lock is right there. So it implies that there is a way out, but somebody in a very 5 of Pentacles place may not see that or recognize it, because all they know in that moment is what they're feeling, their sadness or their despair. And exploring that with our sitter, we could simply ask how that relates to how they feel about the relationship's direction. Had they not started to explore, like we're doing now with this reading, in order to find some healing? And they might say, no, absolutely. I wasn't liking the energy between me and my partner anymore. And that's why I came for a reading. Because I wanted a clear head. And I haven't been feeling clear-headed at all. I relate to the figure in that card because I was feeling so sad and so lost. I was feeling like I don't know what to do. And there haven't been any bad fights or arguments, but there have been a lot of disagreements. So who knows? Maybe that feeling would have persisted for a little longer. I don't know how much longer we would be sticking together under those conditions, but it would definitely not be feeling good. And then, when they're ready to see what other insights there may be when it comes to this possible direction, you pull card number 3 from the Oracle deck, and here we have Mystery. The Mystery card is about appreciating mystery and not having all the answers, or enjoying the process of having the answers come at the right time, being comfortable with not knowing. That isn't to say, of course, that that's the way it should always be, but there are times in life where I would say that that is pretty sage advice. That we don't know everything there is to know about a situation, and it's time to come to peace with that. And so we ask our sitter, what insights do you get from that when it comes to what we've discussed about your relationship? And they could even say something like, you know what? I am actually glad that I pursued this, because now I have more clarity. So it's kind of the opposite of appreciating the concept of mystery. And you know what? Sometimes cards do bring up in the person that we're reading for what seems like a different meaning than what that card stands for. Yes, it's related by all means. But like our sample sitter says, they now appreciate having less mystery, to put it in different words. When it comes to this situation, part of their insight could even be, before I decided that I was going to book a reading, I was wondering if I should just let things unfold and not keep thinking about what I can do. Maybe the situation would just resolve itself and get better one day. And I am seeing now that instead of keeping things so mysterious, I would prefer for there to be more open communication in my relationship. And I'm starting now. I'm going to tell my partner what I've learned by going to this reading, the insights that have come up for me, ideas that I have now about how we can move forward, and so on and so forth. You can encourage your sitters, by the way, in relation to all this, to having insights and whatnot, to write down key points of the reading, or even to record it if they want. That way all these realizations don't just disappear into thin air. So at that point, you close up the reading, you can give a little summary of what has come up, and answer any questions that the sitter may still have. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. This was just one example of how oracle cards can be used with tarot cards. In the past, a long time ago, I had videos using multiple decks, and maybe at some point I'll do that again. You won't be able to find those videos right now, by the way, because I did put them on private, and they might still make a comeback, but as I film this, they're still on private. But I may take inspiration from some of the past stuff I've made. If you enjoy this, please subscribe so you don't miss a thing. I'll be putting out more tarot videos, shadow work related, inner awareness, personal growth, and I'll be back soon. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Till then, bye for now. So many more Diaries of a Witchy Creative Life coming soon.